Get smoother, brighter skin instantly in one easy step. Dermalogica's daily microfoliant gives you the smooth, glowy skin you want without damaging your skin barrier. This gentle exfoliating powder activates with water to smooth out rough texture and brighten skin. It's powerful enough to deliver results, yet gentle enough to use every single day, even on sensitive skin. See the results for yourself. Visit Dermalogica.com and use code SMOOTH at cart for an exclusive free gift with $65 purchase.
Well, hello, fellow weird ones. Sorry for my chuckle. I'm not even high at the moment. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm recording this episode now because I was too sick to do it last night. I'm still fighting the sickness, so my apologies for my voice as well. And if you hear snoring, it's Clarabelle. She's laying on my bed, and I didn't want her to have to wake up yet because she's so cute. So I tucked her in and smothered her with kisses. So I was on Reddit last night because I had to look up something, and I saw someone had recommended my podcast, and I saw a comment, and not gonna lie, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. It was like, I tried to listen, but I couldn't get past her dry laugh every couple sentences. And yeah, but that's okay, because I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and you're allowed to like and not like whatever you want. And there's tons of people out there who do like my dry laugh. Thank you very much. In many states in the US, and also shocked the shit out of me, many countries too. Sorry, Clarabelle's snoring pretty loud. But yeah, many countries. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up and I will read it for you. There's still some states in the US where no one has listened yet, but my goal is to get all of the states. Also, I remember extensively learning all of the states in the United States and Canada and obviously the whole world. When you're in school and you had to learn the cities and the capitals and the rivers and mountain ranges and all that stuff. And I can assure you, one, I've never used it in my life. And two, I forget about 98% of that because I look at this blank map of the United States and I can only tell you a handful. But anyway, obviously the US is a big one for my listens and stuff. But there's Canada and Mexico and Iceland, which is pretty cool, and Norway and Germany and France and the UK and Spain and Greece and India. What else is there? There was Vietnam, Malaysia, Australia, South Africa. I don't know. I thought that was pretty fancy. So thank you, all of you guys. Oh, and the United Arab Emirates was one too. It literally just one. They probably said, oh, hell no, with her dry laugh. I cracked myself up. Well, I think because I am 37 years old and an adult, I can do what I want. I am going to smoke a bowl real quick. And then we're going to talk about the craziest thing ever. And I'm so excited. But I obviously have to read you my intro to make it sound like a professional podcast, So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And welcome back to you. To another episode of Don't Quote Me, It's Probably Nothing, the show where we take the internet's strangest theories, the wildest TikTok spirals, and the midnight Reddit rabbit holes, and we deep dive them so hard, right in the hole. But your FBI agent's probably going to be like, ma'am, please stop Googling that, because I know mine is probably very concerned. I'm Kelly, your guide, your narrator, your emotional support cryptid, and today we are going to be talking about one of the most iconic conspiracy theories of all time. So please grab your fanciest tinfoil hat because this is fancy, okay? It's a theory so legendary, so dramatic, so absolutely unhinged. It honestly deserves its own Netflix original. I think, anyway. Ladies, gentlemen, and all of my multidimensional beings tuning in, we are going to be talking about reptilians. The alleged shape-shifting lizard humanoids who, according to the internet, are secretly running world governments, the music industry, major corporations, Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and probably your neighborhood HOA. I'm going to bring that up at the next HOA meeting. I'd be like, excuse me, sir, are you a reptilian? Which, if anybody in my neighborhood actually listens to this podcast, I hope you chuckled at that. But anyway, welcome to the Reptilian Deep Dive, and don't blink sideways. Okay, so before we start accusing celebrities of blinking sideways or glitching on high-definition cameras, let's go all the way back to the beginning, because the whole reptilian conspiracy didn't start on TikTok. It didn't start with Reddit. It didn't even start with that one uncle who like talks about conspiracy theories all the time. I'm that uncle. But I'm going to be so self-conscious about that from now on. But anyway, humans have been obsessed with snake gods, dragon people, and lizard-adjacent deities since literally the dawn of civilization. Every culture, and I mean every culture, had some version of a serpent god, a dragon ruler, or a half-human, half-reptile hybrid. But we're going to start with the big ones. Okay, I took a break to get some nasal spray because I was starting to sound a little nasally, I think. Hopefully it's better. But also, I just want to say that this is a very delightful morning, if I do say so myself. It's quiet, which I love. And I have my coffee and I get to talk to you fine people. It's nice. It's very nice. But anyway, back to lizard people. So in India, Buddhism and Hinduism, there are these things called I think it's Naga or Naga, maybe. It's Naga, but the first A has that like line above it. Anyway, these were powerful serpent beings who could shapeshift into humans whenever they wanted. Sometimes they guarded treasure, sometimes they married humans, and sometimes they caused floods because they were in a bad mood. Then in Aztec civilization, there is, I think it's called Quetzalcoatl. I'll spell it for you. It's Quetzalcoatl. You know, I don't know why I spell words out for you if I can't pronounce them right. I feel like because like in school when like we would have to read aloud if we didn't know a word, we would just start spelling it. At least I would just start spelling the word that I didn't understand. Why? I don't know. But anyway, the Quetzalcoatl, or whatever they're called, are one of the most iconic serpent gods ever because they're like a feathered serpent deity. Like if a snake and a bird had a baby, and that baby ran an empire. He was connected to creation, knowledge, astronomy, basically like the original reptilian influencer. And then in early biblical texts, there's the seraphim, and this one shocks people. So the word seraphim comes from a Hebrew root meaning burning serpents. So angels, literal heavenly beings, are described as serpent-like. So if anyone ever tells you reptilians are too weird to be real, just remind them that the Bible said angels but make them reptiles first. And then there's also the Chinese dragon emperors. And ancient emperors didn't just like vibe with dragons, they like claimed dragon ancestry. Like, oh, where's your family from? Me? This guy. I'm half dragon, thanks. But does anybody remember playing Crash Bandicoot on the one level? I think it was Crash Bandicoot 3 where there was like the different worlds. I want to say it was called like Warp something. It was like the warp room that you were in. But there was one where I would always be the girl. And there was one where you ride something and you're going through like the wall of China and you're jumping over the dragons. That's what I pictured. Those dragons that were flying. That's what I pictured the Chinese dragon emperors as. But anyway, all of this matters because ancient stories are the backbone of modern reptilian conspiracies, and they teach two things that come back again and again. One, reptilian beings were powerful. Two, they could disguise themselves as humans. So the idea of a reptile-human hybrid isn't new. We just took a 6,000-year-old myth and slapped it onto politicians with suspiciously smooth foreheads. But now we can get to the fun part. Because while ancient mythology gave us the like reptilian aesthetic, right? Modern conspiracy culture gave us the plot twist. Now, I'm going to introduce this guy to you the way the universe intended. So he was one man who gave reptilians their modern celebrity status. And that man is David Icke. So David Icke was a former British footballer, which I think they mean soccer. Like, I think it's what we would call soccer, right? Anyway, he also was a sports broadcaster and a TV personality. Totally normal guy, totally unproblematic, totally not someone you'd expect to one day claim that the Queen of England was a shape-shifting space lizard. But then, one day in 1991, he had what he called a spiritual awakening. He announced on live television that he was a son of the Godhead, the world was controlled by invisible forces, and reality as we know it was essentially broken. And then the BBC afterward was like, so anyway, back to the weather. But David did not stop there. He dove headfirst into writing, researching, and building what became one of the most elaborate conspiracy frameworks in modern history. He claimed an ancient extraterrestrial reptilian race called the Anunnaki, which came from the constellation Draco, manipulated humanity thousands of years ago, created hybrid bloodlines to control society, and still run major world powers through shape-shifting disguises. So, like, essentially, he said, the government? Lizards. Politicians? Lizards. Royal family? Definitely lizards. So the bloodline theory is one of Icke's biggest ideas, and it's that reptilians created the specific bloodline to maintain power, which is what I just mentioned. So according to him, and allegedly, after every single one of these names, these families include the British monarchy, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, most U.S. presidents, high-ranking political families, major CEOs, basically anyone who's ever been on Forbes' top 100 list. Meanwhile, where everybody else is just, like, chilling with non-reptile blood. Does that mean we're poor? Because, like, everyone that they're assuming is, like, reptilians have a lot of money. But anyway, Icke says that reptilians shapeshift between human form and their true lizard form using vibrational frequency manipulation, which is basically the sci-fi version of they have a filter on. So he claims that they can glitch, their eyes can reveal their reptile form, their pupils sometimes slip into slits, shadows can expose them, and cameras sometimes catch flickers of their real appearance. And this is why TikTok loves reptilian theories, because every time a celebrity's camera glitches during like a live stream, everybody's like, oh my God, is that a lizard? I don't know why I did that voice. But David Icke didn't fade into obscurity. He became one of the most influential conspiracy theorists in the world. His books sold millions, his lectures fill auditoriums, and he has followers in dozens of countries. And reptilian theory became part of modern conspiracy culture, like baked in, permanent, unhinged. Whether people believe it or not, almost everyone has heard the joke like, oh, the government is run by lizard people, and like that's his legacy. But now we get to my favorite part, celebrities who are reptilians. Allegedly, obviously. Let's start with the internet's favorite piece of evidence first. The eyes. So reptilian believers say the eyes are the hardest part to disguise. They claim that pupils turn into slits, eyes flick sideways, eyelids blink vertically, or the eye briefly glitches on camera. And to be fair, when you slow a video down from like 0.25 speed, zoom in 400%, and screen record a live stream that's probably already buffering, I mean, anyone looks like they're about to shed their skin. First up is Beyonce. And this is the internet's favorite alleged lizard queen. So she is probably the most accused reptilian of all time. And the logic is always the same. She's too perfect. She never ages. She never messes up. She looks flawless in every single frame. Therefore, not human. There are entire TikTok compilations of Beyonce's eye glitches, facial freezes, and moments where her expression changes like mid-performance. Then there's Mark Zuckerberg, and he's the internet's favorite. I don't know if you can hear Clarabelle snoring, but she's snoring. There's that infamous video where he drinks water during a congressional hearing, like he's downloading new software in real time. And people are like, oh, his facial expressions lag, or his eyes don't move naturally, and his smile appears like installed. I mean, the memes basically write themselves. Is he reptilian? I don't know. But does he look like someone who like has to consciously remember to blink? Yeah, he does. And then this next one is a classic. It's the royal family being of reptilian ancestry. And the reason why is because of ancient bloodlines, generational power, wealth, secrecy, castles, crowns, and absolutely zero relatable energy. There are viral clips claiming Queen Elizabeth's eyes changed shape, her skin flickered, or her face glitched during speeches. So to conspiracy theorists, royalty plus mystery equals lizard. Justin Bieber actually has several viral videos where fans claim that he shapeshifted. And the most famous one was an airport clip where his eyes appeared to change for like a split second. In reality, it was like compression and lighting. But the comments were like, oh, I saw it. That was not human. He's a reptile. Yeah, speaking of like the I saw it, you ever see like I forget who it was. I think it was Jeff Foxworthy was doing stand up, and he was talking about how like people who see UFOs, you know, like they'll go on and be like, oh, there was a UFO and it was here. And then there was said something like, oh, there's always some guy who was like, I seen it. That's what that reminded me of. But anyway, there's a reason celebrities are the center of this conspiracy. So psychologists say that our brains look for patterns, distrust people with too much power, and struggle to reconcile fame, wealth, and perfection. So instead of accepting that someone is talented, rich, or genetically blessed, their brain goes, nope, that's a lizard. Also, the reason why Clarabelle snores so loud is because she is an Old English bulldog, and she's derpy. And I love her because she's so darn cute, even if her teeth are really crooked and uneven. But I love her so. Okay, now we are crossing the line from, haha, that celebrity blinked weird, into, are we living in a broken Sims game? Because for a lot of people online, reptilians aren't just shape-shifting celebrities. They are allegedly the operators of the simulation itself. So welcome to Glitches in the Matrix Reptilian Edition. So according to conspiracy TikTok and Reddit threads that absolutely should not be read after midnight, reptilians are not just hiding among humans. They're running the system. They're the admins, the mods, the developer who forgot to patch version 3.7. And when something goes wrong, when reality lags or freezes or repeats, that's not a coincidence. That's a reptilian error. Allegedly. Now, this is where the NPCs come in, and NPCs are non-player characters. And like, you've seen the videos. Someone filming in like a grocery store captures a person standing completely still. Like no blinking, no movement, just like paused. There's a lot of those videos going around, I think, with people in like the Denver airport or some like mall or something like that. But the internet's reaction is, that's not a person, that's an NPC, a reptilian forgot to hit play. Scientists say it could be disassociation, zoning out, or medical issues. But TikTok says the lizard server crashed. Then there's also time slips and the Mandela effect. So there are people who swear timelines are shifting. They remember events differently, logos changed, movie lines are wrong, history feels edited. And some people believe reptilians rewrite history, manipulate collective memory, and adjust timelines like it's Google Docs. It's like someone accidentally deletes a paragraph and they're like, oh, humans noticed. Which also, like, there's so many things that can be talked about with the Mandela effect. I was actually just thinking of that yesterday. I was thinking about how many times Bob Barker had died. And I think it was like twice. Because I remember him dying like a while ago. And then when it came out that he had passed away, I'm like, there's no way. Because he's already dead. So like, how'd he die again? You know? But there's tons of theories also about like timeline shifts and stuff like that. And it's just, I love it. I love talking about it. But anyway, there's also the moon being like wrong. And this one trends like at least once a month. People post videos saying the moon is too bright, or the moon's moving too fast, or the moon's in the wrong place, or now like I think there's two moons, but for real. But astronomers explain orbital mechanics, and conspiracy TikToks like, oh, the hologram's malfunctioning. Reptilians forgot where the moon goes. But then there's also like the sky sounds. So there's the creepy metallic trumpet sounds that went viral. And some say it's angels, earthquakes, atmospheric acoustics. Reptilian believers say that's communication. And they're syncing the simulation. And that's lizard Morse code. And sorry, that noise that you just heard was me opening my chapstick because my lips are dry. But the thing is, the idea that reality is glitching actually makes people feel comforted. Because if the world feels chaotic or broken or confusing and out of control, then there's an explanation. Even if that explanation is intradimensional lizards in human suits. And like before this episode turns into a full-blown crisis, I'm going to pivot, because if reptilians are among us, then we need to talk about how to spot them. Which brings us to my personal favorite segment, a completely unnecessary, wildly dramatic, absolutely unscientific reptilian nature documentary. I'm Sarah McLachlan. Just kidding. But also, I will try to do my best nature documentary voice. I will try to channel my inner David Attenborough energy. And over here, we observe the common reptilian in its natural habitat, a Hollywood red carpet. Notice how it moves confidently among humans, wrapped in designer fabric, sunglasses shielding its sensitive eyes from bright lights and sudden camera flashes. The reptilian prefers environments with attention, power, and validation. Observe closely. The skin appears smooth, almost too smooth. This is because the reptilian sheds regularly, allowing it to maintain a youthful appearance well into what humans consider aging. A useful adaptation. When startled by unexpected questions from journalists, the reptilian may briefly lose control of its human disguise. This can result in a sideways blink, or a frozen facial expression, or what scientists refer to as a PR crisis. The reptilian feeds primarily on attention, admiration, fear, and brand deals. It is especially energized during awards season. When threatened, the reptilian will deploy its most powerful defense mechanism, a carefully worded public statement released by its team. Some reptilians migrate seasonally. They are often spotted in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., London, Davos, and occasionally Silicon Valley. Reproduction remains a mystery. Some researchers believe reptilians create offspring through elite bloodlines. Others believe they simply spawn more CEOs. If you encounter a reptilian in the wild, experts recommend avoiding direct eye contact, not mentioning eye glitches, and slowly backing away while pretending to check your phone. And that concludes today's episode of National Geographic, but make it delusional. You're welcome. Okay, jokes aside for a second, let's talk about why reptilian conspiracies stick. Because most people who engage with these theories aren't stupid. They're not gullible or crazy. They're human. And the human brain hates uncertainty. So psychologists say conspiracies thrive when people feel overwhelmed, powerless, confused, or disconnected from systems of authority. And to be honest, modern life checks all of those boxes. So the human brain is a pattern recognition machine. It evolves to connect dots fast, sometimes a little too fast. So when people see celebrities who don't age, politicians who feel inauthentic, systems that seem rigged, wealth concentrated in the same families, and power passed down through generations, the brain's oh, okay, something is going on here. And if the explanation isn't clear, the brain will fill in the gaps. So the reptilian explanation works because reptilians check a lot of psychological boxes. They explain power, secrecy, they explain why leaders feel inhuman, they give people a villain, and they turn abstract systems into something tangible. And it's easier to imagine a lizard in a human suit than to process corruption, inequality, and institutional failure. One is absurd, and the other is overwhelming. Add TikTok slow motion video, filters, compression artifacts, and algorithm-driven outrage, and suddenly normal eye movement becomes proof, lighting glitches become evidence, and jokes turn into belief systems, especially when communities form around reinforcing the same ideas. So this is where the episode shifts because everything we've talked about so far, ancient myths, celebrity eye glitches, reptilians running the simulation, lives mostly in internet culture. But there is one real world case where the reptilian conspiracy wasn't just a theory. It was someone's entire explanation for reality. So this is the story of Kyle Odom, and this is the conspiracy exactly as he described it. In 2016, Kyle Odom, a former U.S. Marine, sent a 26-page manifesto to his family, to media outlets, and to the White House. In it, he laid out a detailed theory explaining who reptilians are and where they come from, how they operate, and why he believed they had targeted him. This document exists. It's public, and it's extensive. And according to Odom, what follows was not a metaphor, it was literal. So he claimed that the Earth has been infiltrated by an advanced race of shape-shifting reptilian beings. He believed these beings were not human, highly intelligent, telepathic, physically stronger than humans, and capable of disguising themselves as people. He said they appear human externally, but their true form is reptilian. Tall, slender, cold-blooded, predatory. According to Odom, these beings originated from Mars or another nearby planetary system, and he described them as an ancient species that either fled their own dying world or expanded outward to dominate others. In his words, they are Martian overlords, and he believed they arrived on Earth long ago and quietly embedded themselves within human civilization. So one of the central pillars of his theory was telepathic control. So he claimed that reptilians can read human thoughts, implant ideas, manipulate emotions, control behavior, and override free will. And according to him, humans don't realize they're being influenced, but certain individuals are more sensitive and can feel the interference. And he believed that he was one of those people. So he wrote that reptilians actively target specific humans, and he claimed they conduct psychological and neurological experiments on people they consider threats, outliers, or genetically useful. And he believed he had been selected for experimentation and surveillance, and he wrote that he was being monitored constantly, not with technology, but with direct mental access. He believed reptilians had embedded themselves in positions of authority. He specifically named religious leaders, political figures, military leadership, and people in positions of moral influence. So according to him, religion was especially important because it allowed reptilians to control belief systems, obedience, and social behavior. So Odom claimed that the pastor that he later shot was not human, but a reptilian entity disguised as a man. He believed that this individual was directly involved in controlling him telepathically because he thought that the pastor projected thoughts into his mind and manipulated his perceptions and was part of like a larger reptilian hierarchy operating through religion. He described subtle signs that, according to him, like reveal reptilians. A change in the eyes, moments where facial features appear off, expressions that feel like predatory or empty, and unnatural emotional flatness. And he believes some people can sense these beings instinctively, even if they couldn't consciously explain why. So after he shot the pastor, so also, like, not only did he, like, shoot the pastor, well, hold on, I'll get to that. Let me finish this. Okay, so after the shooting, he traveled to Washington, D.C., and he approached the White House fence and threw documents and USB drives over it. And these materials, according to Odom, contained explanations of the reptilian threat, warnings about infiltration, and requests for intervention at the highest level of government. And he believed the president needed to be informed because the reptilians were already inside major institutions. And at the core of his manifesto was this belief that humanity is unknowingly coexisting with a non-human species that views humans as inferior, controllable, and expendable. That society is structured to hide this truth, and that only a small number of people can see what's really happening. But like what makes the Kyle Odom story different from like internet reptilian theories is not the idea itself. It's like the level of detail, like the internal logic, the consistency, and like the complete worldview. It was like a fully formed conspiracy narrative explaining reality, power, identity, and control. But what I wanted to tell you about the pastor being shot, so he was shot with like a .45, and he was shot 6 times and once in the head, but the pastor survived. So some say that they agree with the pastor being a reptilian because that is wild to survive. But also, wasn't 50 Cent shot like 50 times or something like that? Or am I making that up? Is he survived? Is he a reptilian? Something to think about. But anyway, fancy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory episode would not be complete without some Reddit stories, because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. So this one is from Fuck It All 1121, and it's titled, "Anyone Else Encounter Reptilians? Here's some of my experiences. When I was a child, I would dream about lizard men taking me out of the house and into the light in the sky. These dreams would happen a few times a month. When I got older, I had a dream about a reptilian male introducing himself. I asked him if he was their leader, and I got the words in my brain of a commander and in a military scientific expedition. He explained that he was, and he also said I would see him again soon. I remember waking up thinking I had a cool dream when I noticed my feet were dirty and there was leaves and some mud from walking outside barefoot. That freaked me out a bit. In high school, I met someone, and as we got close, she told me she would have dreams about meeting a lizard person who told her that he was a commander and actively monitoring this planet. She described him exactly as I have seen him. He wore a chestplate of armor with metallic-looking sleeves, and he wore metallic-looking boots. Even the ship he came in looked the same. Both of us described it as a short cigar-looking object. Another dream happened sometime after I was reading about the supposed Draconians online. I asked this commander if they came from a planet orbiting a star in the Draco constellation, and he said they have colonies in that direction. There was a dream in which I was brought inside a ship and asked to put my hand on a weird plate-looking object. On it was a yellow golden orb-looking thing. One of the reptilians asked me to move it by thought, and it lifted up. He told me to think about it moving in any direction, and it would move in that direction I wanted it to. The reptilian explained to me it was used as a probe and could collect information. I was dropped off outside and later woke up in my bed. I ended up seeing some leaves and mud by the door I entered that night. My parents also commented on an unusual burning smell that morning too. Years later, I would encounter another abductee mentioning these orbs that had a yellow gold color. These beings have spoke both verbally and telepathically. One female reptilian gave her name as Ezra. Another reptilian said that our civilization isn't the only less advanced one they monitor. Anyone else ever encounter similar being? Also to add, I do not believe in any of the David Icke stuff or any conspiracy BS about reptilians, or other aliens for that matter, being the elite or in control of the world. Nor do I believe they eat humans. But that's like the only Reddit story I'm reading. But I did see that while reading the comments, there's a book called Meet the Hybrids by Barbara Lamb, and it has some stories about reptilians, so if you're looking, maybe read that one. And that, my lovely friends, brings us to the end of today's reptilian kind of deep dive. We covered ancient snake gods, celebrity eye glitches, reptilians allegedly running the simulation, and one of the most intense real-world reptilian conspiracy narratives ever documented. If you're walking away from this episode thinking like, wow, that was a lot, same. If you're now suspicious of celebrities blinking, the moon looking a little too bright, or that one person in Target standing completely still, again, same. Question everything, but maybe don't spiral at 2 a.m. with the lights off and TikTok on, because that's when the lizards win. This week's song of the week is You Can Always Be Replaced by Hush CA, and I'm pretty sure that stands for California, but I don't know. Go stream it wherever you listen. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend, tell an enemy, or whisper it into the void. Whatever feels right. As always, stay weird, stay curious, go be kind to someone for no reason, and go be amazing.
Get smoother, brighter skin instantly in one easy step. Dermalogica's daily microfoliant gives you the smooth, glowy skin you want without damaging your skin barrier. This gentle exfoliating powder activates with water to smooth out rough texture and brighten skin. It's powerful enough to deliver results, yet gentle enough to use every single day, even on sensitive skin. See the results for yourself. Visit Dermalogica.com and use code SMOOTH at cart for an exclusive free gift with $65 purchase.